The Lustrous Odyssey event is starting around the world in Pokemon Go, and as always, we're going to run through all the tips and tricks for this mini event. Let's run through it. So this event is January 6th at 10 a.m. to January 10th at 8 p.m. all local time. Bonuses during the event will have an increased chance of your buddy Pokemon bringing you souvenirs as well as presents, and buddies will spend more time on the map when fed berries or poffins. We'll also see the debut of Dusk form Lycanroc. Now this Pokemon is kind of confusing to guess based off the website, but from what I understand, Adventure Sync 5 and Adventure Sync 10 kilometer eggs, as well as 2 and 7 kilometer eggs will all be hatching Rockruff during this event, and you can also get them through field research tasks. And any of these Rockruffs you end up getting during this event will have a chance to evolve into Lycanroc in the Dusk form. So yeah, not 100% guaranteed. So I have no idea what's going to be the trigger to make Dusk form and Lycanroc, but from what it seems right now, you're going to have to get new hatched Rockruffs, not your old ones, to get this new Pokemon. But don't worry if you can't get it because it's not really that good, but we'll cover it in a section. Wild spawns during the event will be Ghastly, Eevee, Spinarak, Sunkern, Teddiursa, Lunatone, Solrock, Yungoos, Fomantis, Morlul, and rare spawns for Espeon and Umbreon, which can both be shiny in the wild. 2 kilometer eggs during the event will be hatching Pichu, Igglybuff, Togepi, Tyrogue, Smoochum, Larvesta, Rockruff, Fomantis, Lechonk, and Smoliv. 7 kilometer eggs during the event will be hatching Alolan Sandshrew, Alolan Vulpix, Alolan Meowth, Galarian Meowth, Alolan Geodude, Galarian Ponyta, Galarian Slowpoke, Galarian Farfetch'd, Alolan Grimer, Paldean Wooper, Galarian Zigzagoon, Galarian Darumaka, Galarian Stunfisk, and Rockruff. 1-star raids will have Hisuian Growlithe, Rhyhorn, Hisuian Sneasel, and Rockruff. 3-star raids will have Lapras, Aerodactyl, Hisuian Braviary, and Weirdeer. 5-star raids will have Buzzwole, Xurkitree, and Pheromosa all in their respective regions, and Mega raids will have Mega Ampharos. We'll also have the exclusive field research task, hatch an egg for a Hisuian Sneasel, hatch 2 eggs for a Hisuian Growlithe, or hatch 3 eggs for a Rockruff encounter. Now with the event details of the way, let's get right into the tips, starting with one of the best wild spawns during this event. Let's take a look. Starting with Ghastly, which evolves into Gengar. Gengar does have a little bit of play in the Ultra League, as well as does have a Mega form in the game right now, which is a very strong Mega. Eevee's in there, which evolves into Umbreon. Umbreon is one of the best Great League and best Ultra League safe swapping Pokemon, as well as Eevee can evolve into Sylveon, which is a good fairy type raid attacker and does see some play in the Master League. Spinarak's in there, which evolves into Ariados, which does see some play in some limited Great League Cups. Teddiursa's in there, which evolves into Ursa Luna during full moons, which you can have some play in the Master Premier Cup. Morlul's in there, which does get you 500 Stardust per catch, so if you need a little bit of extra Stardust, definitely catch those Morluls. Espeon's in there, which gets you 300 Stardust per catch, another boosted Stardust Pokemon to catch, and Umbreon's in there, which does get you 300 Stardust per catch and is also good in the Great League and the Ultra League. That moves us on into the next part of the event, which is going to be the exclusive 2 kilometer and 7 kilometer eggs, which are the same as normal except Rockruff has been added into them. On top of that, remember Rockruff will be hatching from the 5 and 10 kilometer Adventure Sync eggs, which are the eggs you get at the start of every week depending on how far you walked last week. So really not the best way to hunt them. But nonetheless, out of the 2 eggs, I would probably recommend going after the 2 kilometer eggs just because of the fact that they're going to be a lot easier to hatch, which means you'll have more encounters with that Rockruff, which could potentially evolve into the Dusk form of Lycanroc. And on top of that, there's a bunch of great baby Pokemon in here. Shiny Pichu, Igglybuff, Togepi, Tyrogue, and Smoochum are all 5 baby Pokemon, which are super rare in their shiny form, so if you do end up hatching them, they can be great trade bait. Also, Larvesta's in there, which we all know how rare that is if you don't have that for your Pokedex. The 7 kilometer eggs are not bad to go after during this event, but there's no half egg incubator distance, so if you really want to try to get that Rockruff that can evolve into the Dusk form of Lycanroc, definitely try to get after it in the 2Ks. With that talked about though, we got to talk about Lycanroc and is it any good in Pokemon Go? Let's take a look at this new form of it. So Dusk form of Lycanroc is going to be a pure rock type Pokemon, have a base attack of 234, defense of 139, and stamina of 181, with a max CP at level 50 of 3054. For fast moves, it can learn Rock Throw, Counter, and Sucker Punch, and for charge moves, Stone Edge, Trailblaze, Iron Head, and Crunch. First, let's take a look at this thing in PvP. With the moveset of Counter, Stone Edge, and Crunch, unfortunately, Dusk form of Lycanroc not going to do great with only a 20% win ratio against the Great League meta. If you want to take a look in the Ultra League, a little bit better, 26%, but still nothing to write home about, probably not going to be that good. And the Master League, 8% win ratio, you're not using that thing there. If you want to take a look at this thing in raids as a rock type raid attacker, it's going to be ranked overall in the number 28 slot. So yes, not really having a lot of play as a raid attacker or in PvP. So overall, this Pokemon is very confusing based on the website to get, but even if you don't get it, it's not that big a deal because this thing is not going anywhere. If you end up hatching a Rockruff that can evolve into it, just evolve it, get it for the Pokedex, move on. But that moves us into the raids. What are the best raids to go after during this event? Starting in the 1-star raids, Rhyhorn's in there, which evolves into Rhyperior, a good Master League Pokemon, as well as a good rock and ground type raid attacker. Hisuian Sneasel is also in there, which does see a little bit of play in some limited Great League metas, like the Fighting Cup. In the 3-star raids, we see Aerodactyl in there, which does have a Mega form in the game, so if you need a good IV, you can go after in the 3-star raids. In the 5-star raids, we'll have Buzzwole, Xurkitree, and Pheromosa, which certain ones will only be available depending on where you live, but Buzzwole is good in the Great League and the Ultra League. Pheromosa is a good good bug type raid attacker, and Xurkitree is actually the #1 electric type raid attacker. So definitely get after those Ultra Beast raids, especially those Xurkitrees if you live in the correct area. Finally, the Mega raids, Mega Ampharos, the #2 best electric Mega, so not the greatest, but still, if you need a bit of Mega energy, definitely grab it. Now, after covering all these Pokemon, a very important thing is to get candies for them, because you need candies to power up these Pokemon and get their full use out of them. So let's go through my top candy tips. #1, use Pineapple Berries during this event. Regular Pineapple Berries will multiply your catch candy by 2, and Silvers by 2.34. You can also go ahead and Mega Evolve a Pokemon during this event. And in my opinion, there's 2 options to Mega Evolve during this event. #1, you can go ahead and Mega Evolve a Primal Kyogre. That will get you more candies for Spinarak, Sunkern, Fomantis, and Morlul. #2, Mega Evolve a normal type Pokemon like Mega Lopunny, getting you more candies for Eevee, Teddiursa, and Yungoos. Finally, Mega Evolve a Mega Sableye, which will get you more candies for Ghastly and Umbreon, which I find are the 2 best Pokemon to get XL candies for during this event. So Mega Sableye might be your best option. Megaing doesn't actually affect hatches, so this is a hatch focus event, so the Mega you choose is not going to be that vital towards your hatch candies. Next up, you can trade Pokemon. It is the season of Timeless Travels, which means every time you trade away a Pokemon, you'll get 2 guaranteed regular candies and a guaranteed XL candy. Definitely save some of these, Ghastlies you catch, Eevees, Umbreons, Teddiursas, and trade them away for XL candies so you can power up those Pokemon and use them effectively. Finally, you can go ahead and transfer Pokemon. Specifically on January 16th from 6 to 7 p.m. is Ralt Spotlight Hour, which is when you're going to want to go ahead and save all these Pokemon to transfer then to get more candies. With that all being said, that gets us from the final section of this video, which is our Platinum Medal tips. You need 35 Platinum Medals, go from level 48 to 49 in Pokemon Go. So which ones should you work on during this event? #1, take a look at the type medals here. If there's any you haven't platinum, work on them. For example, Ghastly's in the wild, so the Hex Maniac medal can be a great one to work on. We also have exclusive raids during this event, so the Rising Star medal, defeat 150 different species of Pokemon in raids. Take a look at the raid roster. Raid any of the Pokemon you've never raided at least once before to get a point towards this medal. And the final medal I'll mention is the Best Buddy medal. Have 200 best buddies. We have those bonuses for increased gifts and souvenirs received, as well as your buddy spending more time on the map, which are all things to help you best buddy Pokemon faster, which will hopefully help you work on this medal, but this medal is very hard to do. I guess I can also mention the Breeder medal, hatch 2,500 eggs, because there's just so many eggs that people will be trying to hatch during this event. Overall, guys, this event is kind of a weird one. You're gonna have to spend a lot of money to hatch eggs to try to get this Rockruff, so I don't know if it's really gonna be that worth it, but it is cool that if you do get a shiny Rockruff, you can already get a shiny Dusk form Lycanroc, but remember, the thing's not that great, so don't go spending your whole bank account on it. Follow for more tips, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.